but they're from the same Spirit. And there are differences of ministries, administrations, but the same Lord. And the diversities of methods, operations, but it's the same God, which works all in all. Now, I thought this was very interesting, is that I've never seen this used before in the way it just kind of occurred to me as I was reading through this thing. But here is another outlining, another stating of the Trinity that come. Okay, the power behind them. Okay, so I just, and they do get into that into the lesson here. Okay, so what he's saying here is diversity in gifts and diversity in service should be appreciated. Okay, and so as we got to be careful because we've had disparagement of other people. The Spirit for one person enables them to see. The rest of us are offended by them. To be able to see people as Jesus sees them, as he desires them to be, instead of being put off by how they appear at this time. Yes. Yes. More Christ-like, and that we have the mind of Christ in us, where we are willing to sacrifice for people that hate us. That criticized everything he did. Okay, and yet he loved them. And so we're going to be talking about what that means to love as well here, because it's a part of the lesson. Okay. So there are different gifts. There are different, so some people are really good interpersonal. They can talk to people. They can have conversations, and they can be some of the rest scenes. And it doesn't need to be out in public. It doesn't need to be seen by everybody else. Okay, and so there are many gifts that are public, and then there are many gifts that are not. Remember, there was one. There's gifts of hospitality. Minister to their needs as one who desires their best good. Okay, win their confidence and then bid them to follow him. Okay, and so Jesus went about ministering to people's needs. So I thought it was very interesting is that in this same Spirit, same Lord, same God. Okay, there's unity in the Trinity, which is supposed to be modeled, which is modeled for us. So even though they have different ministries, so to speak, here, according to this, they are one. We all made part of the whole body. There are many members. We're not all the same. And that should not destroy unity. And that should not be destroying unity in the church. Yes.
Then it comes to thought as to how the church manage with.
Yes.
You have within its so it becomes a problem.
It does.
So then you need to ask how then the church manages.
How do we manage the differentiation of gifts? Well, unfortunately, or fortunately, I should say. So if you see somebody getting proud and arrogant and irritated at other ministries, wanting to generate a following, then the Matthew 18, the Matthew 18 process needs to start. Listen what?
We should really listen to our leaders.
Listen to our leaders, exactly.
Because all the church structures,
Right.
I believe
Yes.
It should be managed in a particular way.
Okay.
So how he has structured it will help to manage.
Right. Well, the body of Christ has what? A head. Okay, and the head is Jesus, right? Okay. And so, that is a gift of the Spirit. Even, Jesus comments about, he says, your leaders sit in Moses' seat. They have authority. You may not agree as long as authority. Mm-hmm. And you say we have to follow authority. How does the church comes together and studies it and talks about it and basically generally has to vote on it. Unity. And so this has been part of the problem going forward here for the last 20 or 30 years, okay, in that the church church body as a whole, in general conference session, from all sessions and divisions of the world came together obeying that decision. The world church, with representatives from all around the world come together. Yes, there are cultural differences. Clearly there are cultural differences, okay? But when the world church comes together and says, this is the way we believe we should operate, we are then supposed to acknowledge that leadership and follow it as far as we can. Yes.
Because our real purpose
Okay.
is love one for another.
Right.
And we want to have unity because of Christ.
Yes.
Or in Christ.
The love. Yeah, the love part draws together. Exactly. Yes, go ahead.
This challenge of doctrine that we're talking about is the source of denominations.
Yes.
People say, oh, this is important.
Right.
I mean, yeah, it's scriptural, but that doesn't matter. People decide.
So, right. And so doctrinal differences have caused factionalism. Careful about doing that. Okay? And here we go. So, as we're talking about, the members have different functions. We're not all called to do the same things. We're not all as big. It's all around the whole who have gifts of the Spirit and are being led and are being used of God for the advancement of and for the growth of the whole body. Okay? Some people, some of the gifts are, some people, we talked about hospitality, but some people have the gift of generosity and some people have the gift of stuff to give. Being able to give and being willing to do so. Those are spiritual gifts as well. Okay, so here we have, and going to 1 Corinthians 13, which is the chapter on love, it says, love is not just one gift. It means it's the means through which all of the gifts reach their ultimate purpose. Now, one of the things here, and I thought this was fascinating as we're going down here, is that there are things that love does, and there are things that love does not do. Right? Things that love does not do. And I thought this was fascinating, It's a decision, okay? Things. ahead of my own resentment. That's to love somebody, okay? I don't have to like them, and hopefully you love the actions necessarily, but you can love the person. Yeah, right. Okay, and that's a hard thing. That's a hard thing to do. Yeah.
I think that's the flaws in other people.
Right.
That that's not who they are. That's something they have. Who they are, they're God's child.
Yes, I think that's a gift of the Spirit, being of love. Okay, again, and love means putting the other above myself, loving my neighbor as myself. Paul says what love is, and so then he says, how does he explain what love is? In the first, love shows patience, kindness, abuse, endures. And that's what he's talking about here, is everybody has a different spiritual gift. There is not uniformity of spiritual gift. And they have that ability. Some people have faith. Some have knowledge. Not everybody has all those things. Yes. Temperaments vary. Yes. Yes.
So does perception.
Yes.
You know, I feel like I might think differently than you think.
Between in the spiritual walk. Okay. Of somebody else and wanting what they have. Oh, so and so has. It's not proud and arrogant. Okay. Does not. Doesn't keep a record of wrongs. Doesn't score keep. Okay, with those who have wronged them. Okay, and does not delight in wrongdoing. What does he mean by delight in wrongdoing? Getting evil. Delight in that behavior. Yes, go ahead.
I think it's really important to even see that in a broader sense, that the fear of God is to hate evil and eschew it.
Okay, the fear of God is to hate and eschew evil. There you go. Okay, to stay away from this, because what does it look like here? Wrongdoing. It's all self. It's all self-centeredness. It's all selfishness. It's all pride. It is all disunity in the church, in the family. Okay? And so as he's looking at this, he's saying, this is what love looks like. It's being selfless. This is what it doesn't look means, basically, serve what Jesus gave us. No, we did not. Mind be in you to think and act. It talks a lot about the gift of tongues and how it's supposed to be utilized. And one of the things that I was mentioning here is that in the teacher's helps, they give the followers of Christ, the Pentecostal speaking in tongues. Okay? Divine possession of pagan gods, mystery cults, and the oracles. And they had a high priestess at the oracle in Greece who would enter a trance, receive divine messages through natural phenomena. Okay. And these mystery cults, such as those to Bacchus and Isis, involved rituals, music, frenzied worship that led to trance states, emotional highs, perceived communication with the gods, and tongue. Okay? Now, we, as ourselves, need to be aware of not working up the emotions to get into an emotional state, which then, leads to these things. Now, in the ecstasy kind of a situation, it's the way I feel. That's what tells me, the way I feel tells me that God is speaking to me, that God is using me. And then there's all this babbling in unknown languages, if they're a language at all.
Doesn't Paul also say, I'd rather speak in plain language?
Yes.
Rather than just...
Yes. And so Paul's saying here, listen, if you have been given the gift of tongues, if you have been given the gift of being able to speak in a foreign language, don't everybody talk at the same time in a foreign language. It makes no sense to interpret it. Because otherwise, it's of no use whatsoever. And he says the gift of tongues is to educate, is to illuminate, is to draw people to a knowledge interpreter. Okay? Yeah. Will do you no good. Unless there's an interpreter. Exactly. And so he's saying, don't go speaking in Ukrainian if that's your gift of the Spirit, if there's nobody there to tell people what you're saying. Okay, go ahead.